Durante with a free header.
And the honour of Western United's first A-League goal goes to a familiar face. Bessart Barisha.
It's Connor Payne on the left.
Alessandro Diamante, the ball on a string. And
Diamante! The Western service crew are celebrating.
And welcome back to All Out West. And Kellsy, what are you drinking this week?
Got me a nice English breakfast tea.
Yes, is that the Queen Victoria that was on sale a few weeks ago?
It was the 100-bag box.
Yeah.
Double strength. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that's quite nice. Now, as is tradition, we're having a tea pod because it's only Kellsy and I, and we enjoy cups of tea because we're probably the oldest in the group, I think. So, cheers, big fella.
No, not probably. We are the oldest, and cheers.
Yeah, cheers. So, welcome to All Out West Tea Pod, and I'm going to get into the episode ramble, and we'd be remiss if we did not mention this, but Casey Fields have been crowned back-to-back premiers after a close game against Wellington last night. West United finished third, with the other Victorian team snaking second, and in crazy events and A-League shithousery at its best, a number of VUC fans went to cheer on Wellington. So hopefully they could knock Melbourne City off the top of the table so that Melbourne Victory could get the thing. And what a crazy concept. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I mean, you just look like you got caught with your pants down. You know what I mean? You went to try and cheer the other team in the hopes that City would win. City smack them. They're the champions, and you're still there trying to give them smack talk.
But the thing is, though, it was a close game, and Phoenix had a young squad playing.
Yeah, it was 2-1, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2-1. It wasn't a decisive win, and there has been a few was the umpire getting some of that oil money kind of thing.
But was it ever really in doubt? Nah. I get
Not
it
in the last 2 weeks, but
hey, I'm pro shithousery. Just pick your battles.
Yeah, so that was quite interesting. And just back onto the rest of the table, Adelaide, CCM, and Nux round out the six with heavyweights of yesteryear. Sydney, West Sydney Wanderers, and Brisbane all missing out. Were you expecting Sydney to be out of the top six this year after?
Not pre-season, no chance at all. I thought they would have had one of the top two spots along with City.
Yeah, it's quite bizarre, to be honest, how far they've fallen.
I think if we go back to our review episode, we're all talking those two spots were locks. We'd be happy, we thought we'd be scraping in, but if we could at best maybe get third. And ironically, it's where we got.
Well, I kind of wanted to get to this anyway. So, the start of the season, we said, hey, top six with this squad, this coach, that's a reasonable expectation for a benchmark there. Are you happy with how we're traveling? Now, this isn't the end of season review episode, but are you happy with how we travel?
Yeah, I mean, look, the last week has not been great, but you got to look at the context of where we were coming from at the end of last year to where we are now. I'll take it every day of the week. Like we said, we all thought we might scrape a final. We said the best case, absolute best scenario is possibly a third or fourth, get a home final. And we've done it. And I think we've done it quite comfortably.
It's not technically a home final.
Against Wellington at Amy Park.
Yeah, it's
I'd say it's more of a home final for us than it is Wellington.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's and
we're the home designated home team.
Are we?
I believe so, because we're higher on the table.
Oh, you are right. My apologies. I hadn't seen the thing. I thought they were just playing.
Generally, the team that finishes higher gets the right to the home final.
Sorry, I hadn't read it correctly. Sorry, Kellsy. This is your area of the business.
All good, man. All good.
Speaking of that, so we're going into this is our first home game final we'll ever have in front of our fans, because the last one was up against Brisbane.
And it was in Sydney.
Yeah, which is a bit shit. So this is quite nice. Our second one was against Brisbane, I think. So in our first season. So this is already showing
first final was Brisbane. We won it. We lost to City in the semi-final when it wasn't two-legged.
Yeah.
In Sydney again, because all the finals were in Sydney.
Yeah, due to the whole situation there. But So, pending the result of this week, we will likely play Melbourne City or Victory.
We can only play Victory.
Victory, my apologies. Why don't you tell me the story? You tell the story then, man.
So what will happen is whoever wins. So we play sixth. Adelaide have the home final. So say they play CCM at home.
Yeah.
Whoever is the lowest. So we're ranked 3, 4, 5, 6 on the seedings. Whoever is the lowest seed that advances plays City. Whoever the highest seed that advances plays Victory. So if we win, we can only play Victory because we're third. But if Wellington win, they can only play City being the lowest of the seeds.
Oh, nice. Thank you for clarifying that, kind sir. It's almost like.
But then we have this. But let's get into the awkward situation. If we win, we get a 2-leg playoff, home and away, at the same venue.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit interesting, isn't it? But at least it's better. At least it's better than traveling around Australia that we have been and regional Victoria for the last 2 months.
Oh, completely agree. But it's just like, hey, you're the home team this week. Next week, you're the away team.
They'll still keep the empty green seats there for us. It's all good.
And you'd think whoever does well in the first leg would have confidence in the second leg, given you just either beat them or played really well in the first leg at the same stadium a week earlier.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've put a few more games into it. So, yeah, we'll likely play on the following Tuesday. So we'll probably have maybe a short pod out next week to review just the game and do a preview, like a quick one, just to keep everyone interested. Yeah. Do you like this extra leg model?
I do. I just think it's weird when all the Melbourne teams are playing in the same stadium.
Yeah,
and the situations occurred with this. That's all. I just find that a little odd, a little strange. Just my thoughts on it.
Do you think it's a safe bet to say a Melbourne team will win the grand final?
I mean, I'd find it hard for another team to win it.
Central Coast are in good form. We've seen that. Adelaide are in good form.
Yeah, I mean, Wellington.
Sorry to cut you off there.
No, but let's not even discount Wellington. I mean, they're a bogey side.
Yeah. We'll get into that. Let's get into that later. But yeah, I just want to have a little look back and say, hey, this has gone pretty good. We've had probably about a month of poor performance, but we're going to get more into the injuries and stuff later. But and I really enjoy John Eloise's post-press conferences talking about how proud of his players and staff they are for what they're able to accomplish is to play competitively with a number of players which aren't your first pick. Some cases second. Yeah. Like I really love seeing some of the youth players getting to go and being competitive, especially against Adelaide. But we'll go into club news. Do you want to handle club news? Yeah,
sure. So we've got some NPL action here, and on the 6th of May, West United NPL team took on Preston Lions at City Vista with a 5-1 victory with a Greg Siamono's hat-trick.
Yeah, that's the under-21.
The seniors, however, lost 3-0.
Yeah.
But Preston's a decent NPL team.
Yeah. Well, they're top of the table. So,
yeah,
they are the standard for. So, not a bad thing. A lot of good young players getting some minutes in the legs. Hopefully, we see some more of them. A number of people went. I was hoping because I think Jay went as well to get his feedback on the game day atmosphere. We might get into the game review. If you're
right, let's get into them. Yeah, let's get into them. This is the better of the two anyway.
Did you want to do this one?
Yeah, sure. I can start off. So first, on Wednesday, the 4th of May, West United took the S03 from Gosford to McDonald Jones Stadium to face the ever-dangerous Jets. In front of 3,567 people, the competitive game finished with a 1-1 result. The 1 point was obviously useful for staying third, but this felt like a squandered result. I have to agree. Like, it really was squandered. Look, trying to stay positive, West United had 45% possession with 5 shots on target and some dangerous moments. From the lineup perspective, we did field arguably our best 11 with all the injuries we had. Wales playing the number 10 role, Bayu getting his 4th start this season, and which I thought, and I think you would agree, was really good. Especially as Piero's hasn't really capitalised and made that role his own when he's had the chance.
Definitely, and it's good to see our academy players getting that chance, and also seeing how our squad caters to those kind of hurdles throughout the thing, because we've been plagued by injuries. Diamante's been gone since what is it, January? He played 10 games, 6 starts.
Yeah, was his last game that game against Wellington after the COVID break, or maybe one game after that?
Like, I'm pretty sure he missed a couple of games for COVID, and then he was done again from the knee injury, which I believe he went to a arthroscope. He had that arthroscopy deal in his knee over the weekend to see if he'll play again. So I'm not holding my breath for that.
No, and I wouldn't expect him this week.
Nah. But yeah, it's taking that all into account. We've had some names really step up. Wales been played out of position, learning how to do different things. And I know some people have been, especially in the pod, have been like a bit critical, saying, "Hey, why isn't he taking more shots on goal?" He's been trying to set them up. He's trying to be more playmaking. You know what I mean? So I think he's really done well, and I'm really happy with him. Price, I think at some points he hasn't had the game time, but when he's in that right wing position, I don't think he's as good at that role as, say, Lachie Wales. No,
he's definitely not the number one, but he did get an opportunity to really make it his own, given the injuries we have, given the positioning changes. Like, he's had a chance, and I was glad we refreshed with Bayu. And I have to say, Bayu played bloody well this game.
Yeah, same. I completely agree.
I thought he made some great runs. He helped out the team. His positioning was good. And look, he was rewarded after 27 minutes with a perler.
Yeah, dude, that was sick. I was so G'd up with that. And again, it's his second for the season. 4 starts.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, was this the one with the assist from Kilkenny?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. It was good. It was well done. Prijovic too, not getting himself offside, like knowing he was offside and not interfering with the play.
Yeah, and he just popped over it. Like, I forgot about that actually, because we've had 2 games since then. When we condense it, you kind of forget details. But that was such a smart play. And on that note of Prijovic, that is some game awareness that is really crucial to us, is him not being a poacher. I wish he was a bit more aggressive with trying to have a shot at goal, but at the same point, a number of our players have got a number of goals this season because he's not been greedy with it.
Oh, and he's been tactically aware, like, hey, I'm offside. If I touch this, whistle blows, or even if it goes in the net and it's found that I'm offside in the VAR review, well, it's chalked off.
Exactly.
So again, it was, Kilkenny to first launch the ball to run onto his own pass when he realised Prijovic couldn't do it. So both of them there had a really good connection. Ran onto his own pass, gets it across the Bayu, in.
He's good at passing to himself. I was impressed by that. Such a good goal. And it really, everyone got up. Like, I watched it at home with my wife, and I was like, yeah. And she's like, "He's up, mate. Baby's trying to sleep." But yeah, it's just he's such an interesting and dynamic player. I really hope to see a bit more of him next season and into this final series.
Yeah, me too. I hope he gets some minutes here. I think he's earned them. From there, I really feel like we took the game to them, but without getting that final blow.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. That's just what it felt like to me. I kept thinking, we're going to get caught here because we're not killing them off when we shoot with the chances we're getting.
We blew the chances. And we had a number of shots on goal. Like, we weren't poor. It's just that getting that end product going. And again, we're not playing in our best 11 where we would be a bit more dynamic and have a bit more options with that. We were just, it's a bit of a letdown. And when Elsie leveled the playing field in the 67th minute after that solid cross from Silvera, I felt like our heads dropped a little bit. I felt like we lost a little bit of that, bit of steam like that, which was a bit sad. Yeah,
I also felt we kind of copped our right whack for not killing them off.
Yeah.
This is kind of what we've been talking about with the narrative through the pod. You can't just keep living off the 1-0. Sometimes you got to try and grab them by the throat and put them down.
Yeah, you can't expect your defensive line and keeper to withstand a barrage of well-seasoned players.
Yeah, and then, as you say, heads go down, and then all of a sudden they feel they can get the winner.
Yeah.
And from there, I just felt we were kind of on the back foot.
Yeah. Speaking of back feet, in a rarity, and I mean this in no ill will, it seemed like a bit of a fun segue. In a rarity, the sub was subbed off as Price went off with an ankle injury and Dylan Winslow came on. Worry?
Yeah, we didn't do the medical update. Is there any news on Price?
So there isn't
that doesn't bode well.
But in the press conference, John Aloisi did say a number of players would be back this week for the finals game. So they might have given him a bit of time off this week as well at the Adelaide game to rest up. I'm hoping Lusticker's back. But Dylan Wenzel-Halls has been a very good player. Do you think he's getting enough game time?
No, I feel like he's been underutilized this season.
Like, I'm pretty sure he played pretty much every game last season. Let me just double check that for Brisbane Raw.
Look, I think early on he was getting some good time when Prijovic wasn't ready, but since Prijovic has come in, I just don't think he's even gotten, a sniff.
He had 22 starts and 26 games played last season for Brisbane. And he's had 8 starts for us and 23 games played. So he's come on, but some of those games have been like 5 minutes.
He's come on in the 80th minute and think, what? It's just not enough for him. I feel like he hasn't had enough. I feel like he hasn't gotten enough minutes in his legs here.
Yeah, I don't know why we're not trying him in a dual striker situation, or in the next game he was playing in just a bit behind Prijovic, or put him in the winger role. He's also done that as well.
That's the thing. And he's speedy, and just have him in even as a winger. You can just have him and Prijovic swapping through, and Wales. You can just have the three of them just rotating through like a lot of teams do.
How dynamic would that be? And just that'd be confusing to watch. I'd be about that, tactically.
Yeah, or even like you said, have him as a 2-striker, 4-4-2. There's nothing wrong with the bread and butter of football.
No, it's
tried and tested.
What would our midfield look like that then?
I'd say with that, you'd have to have the issue at the moment would be that right side.
Yeah.
If you had that, because you'd probably have to have Kilkenny and probably Lustica in the middle at the minute. If Lustica's fit, you'd obviously have Payne on the left. He's just got that on lockdown.
Yeah.
And then the right side, you could still you could have Wales, obviously.
Yeah, then you'd have.
Then you just got to worry that you might be too aggressively attacking.
Yeah, that's what
I mean. Because you got Lustica and Kilkenny there, it's just an option in and amongst the game at times.
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, I just thought I'd ask the question.
No, good one.
Now, moving on, with Milos Katatis and Botic on the bench, could more subs and early subs have made an impact on this game?
I feel like in this one it could have. I feel like we weren't vibrant at all. Like I said, we lifted from that first goal. We had that 10, 15 minutes of we could have killed the game off, and then we gave them an inch. The inch became a meter. It just kept growing and growing and growing until they got the goal. And then it was batten down the hatches and hold on.
This was also a short turnaround time as well. So there's everyone's fatigued. Everyone's been away from home or traveling for a while. So this was I think our fourth away game in a row.
I mean, we had our Tassie home games, which don't get me wrong,
they're away.
We play well in Tassie. I've got no issue with Tassie, but I think we were talking about saying it's nights away from the bed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This was our fourth game away from home since the 16th of the 4th. So there was the 4th of the 5th, and then, it's just I think it adds 2 extra away games to our season, which I think is a hindrance in the back end of the season where it is, especially when they are filled with away games because of the COVID restrictions in Victoria, and Perth forces to play most of our fixtures in Victoria early on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but out of those three people, who would have you liked to have seen on a bit earlier?
Out of those three, I mean, Bodish would have been interesting because he hasn't had any real time.
Nah, like that's.
But then again, that could have been a risk because he hasn't had the time. I think Milo's been really good. Same with Guitarist. To tell you the truth, they've both been really good of late.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think we've got some great youth players, and I would like. That's probably the one thing I'd like to tweak is probably a little bit more game time for them. Who are we talking about, Milo or Bottage, Noah?
So Bottage, I think's only had maybe 30 minutes tops for the season.
He's had 3 games played, and that includes the next game. So he played.
Yeah, but I'm talking about at this moment.
At this moment,
as of the
minutes.
Jets game.
As of the
so
Jets
he's had
game,
19 minutes.
10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes total.
Yeah, at that point. 9 minutes against Sydney FC. And 1 minute against Brisbane Roar, which was a piss take and subs, which that they should have subbed in earlier.
Yeah, so there you go.
So yeah, just on a perspective thing. But we'll keep moving on because I don't want to dwell on anything. Do you have any final comments for the game?
No, look, it was disappointing, but it kept us in the hunt. At least we got a point and we're in the hunt to potentially finish first.
Yeah.
Or grab a top 2 spot. That was the thing.
A point's a point, and it didn't really affect our goal difference. So
no. It didn't really affect the Jets other than give them some confidence. It was sort of a game where we lost more than we won out of it, but it was probably a fair result, to be honest.
Yeah. Just glad I didn't make the trip. Although it's supposed to be really great. Shout out Crossbar Capers. Had to happen. Now, let's get to the Player of the Year season competition. So Leb and Jay voted the same. 3 to Young, 2 to Wales, 1 to Amai. Kellsy, you did 3 to Bayou, 2 to Kilkenny, 1 to Young. Scott did 3 to Kilkenny, 2 to Garuscio, 1 to Wales. I did 3 to Bayou, 2 to Killer, 1 to Wales. We won't go through the votes just yet. We'll do it after the next game, and we'll get into the game review for Adelaide.
Yeah, let's do it. The last game of the season.
Sick. So Sunday, the 8th of May, a day that will live in infamy. It won't. But at the under construction Coopers Stadium, Western United took on Adelaide in front of 6,398 people and lost 2-1. I would like to
solid crowd.
Yeah, that's actually shout out to Adelaide. Great crowd. A few people took up the club reimbursement to get people there. So I know Benny Jorgensen and a few others went. Shout out to them for making the trek. I'd like to give a shout out to Coopers, one of the oldest independent breweries in Australia. Still running good. Still fermenting bottles, and their stout is really good. Just want to shout that out. Sorry,
I just want to also give a shout out about that crowd being good because that was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And traditionally, sports crowds aren't great on a Mother's Day. They're traditionally a lot lower. So well done to the people of Adelaide. And for the green and black boys who and girls who took the offer up and went up.
Yeah, definitely. I was really happy to see a lot of the mums come out with the Adelaide team. That was really sweet. And a couple of the kids. I think Goodwin's had a young baby. His wife was carrying a young child. That's a nice. I love to see the family stuff as I'm getting older.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great game. Adelaide are just dangerous. Now, this was a deflating outcome. Well, we'll get on to the game. It was a deflating outcome, and it really solidified our spot on the table, which is third, which we've spoken about. But it didn't start off that way. Dylan Wenzel Halls opened scoring 5 minutes deep during his 8th start for the season. Should we? We've kind of spoken this more. Why shouldn't he be starting?
Yeah, not even starting. Just getting more. Like he should be on maybe about the 60th minute. Give him at least 30 minutes to do something.
Yeah.
Like we said, put him in there. Throw a mix in. Like you said, there's the option for him to be on the wing. You can put him as like the false second striker / sort of false playmaker position behind Prijovic. You know what I mean? There's options there for him to use that speed. You can have him rotating through. You could go to that. You could try a 4-4-2 during a game for a little bit just to try and, make the opposition have to adapt.
Yeah. Like And I'm a big fan of him. Like, he does have his shortcomings. Like, he can get muscled around a little bit, but that comes with age and experience, I think. But definitely,
and the thing
could have been
is,
utilized.
yeah, with his frame though, he's not meant to be the physical one. He's meant to be the speedy one who zips in along the lines, makes daring runs, And I feel like out of all the recruits we've gotten this year, he's probably been the one that was most underutilized
Yeah, he's
to
probably
his full
got
potential.
100% agree with you on that. We should save that conversation and question for the season finale.
Yes, we should.
Now, I know my head was high. I was getting G'd up. I'm like, oh, we're still in the titles race. It's happening. And then Lopez fired back, and the wind came out of the Western Sails. And add even more pain to this. Topper Stanley going down moments later.
This is literally insult to then injury.
Yeah, it is. Well played. And as is tradition, an injury will give a young player a go. And in Ryan Scott's footsteps, Ben Collins stepped in for the injured Topper Stanley. He appears to have a foot injury. And in a crazy thing, Collins even had he managed a wide shot on goal, which I was not expecting, but very Topper Stanley-esque. How would you rate his debut in the A-League?
I think he did really well.
Yeah, same.
He was solid. I would give him a 7.5 to 8. Just given that he's replacing the A-League games record holder at that.
Yeah.
He's going into centre back in what was probably has been a season's back lineup pretty much the whole year. Up until Risdon got out, and even then it's been a settled back for the whole year. Like, he's going into that. He's not getting that game time communication with them. He's having to adapt on the fly. I think he did bloody well.
Same here. He only had one mess up where he passed the ball short or whatever, and they kind of got around him. But the rest of the game, he was solid. I rated him as our best centre back on the day, and we'll get more into that in a second. But props to
I'll put
Collins
that
here.
With that part. I'll put that down to a momentary lapse of either judgment or a moment of fatigue, given that he hadn't played any games. Really played at this level, I should say. Obviously, he's played at the lower levels, but at this level, I don't blame a kid in his first game getting a bit either tired or just mentally switching off for a moment when making a pass.
Man, me at 22 in my job, I was terrible. You know what I mean? And I'm splitting hairs bringing that up because you try to have balance both sides. But great performance from Collins. I can't wait to see because he's a bit tall. I hope to see more of him next season. And I'm going to pose a question to him. Actually, I think I've got it later in the run sheet. No, I don't have it about him. Do you think we should have played him earlier in the season, noting that we only have 2 other centre backs?
It's easy for me to sit here and say, yes, we should have. But where does the opportunity come? You know what I mean? Potentially the Perth game, you could say that would have been an ideal game for him, given what it was. But other than that, I can't name a game where it's we could have easily just thrown him in there and he would have A, gotten game time, and B, been protected enough to learn.
I believe he's been on the bench
for
us. Yeah, I believe he's been on the bench for us 12 times. But on that note, we've always had the team's always had a defensive mindset of we'll get 1 goal and just shut up shop. So again, that's a lot of risk putting on a young player. He's only 22.
Exactly. Where are the games where we've been 3-0 up and could have done it? That's what I mean. The Perth game, you could have argued we probably could have even started with him and done well.
Yeah, we could have been our striker.
But at the same time, with that Perth game, we were chasing the top 2 position. So you want to go with your strongest lineup to get the W.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just I like to ask the question. Now,
no, but I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to him. Just quickly, last note. Look for him to building into that frame he's got because he looks like he's going to be a solid build.
Yeah. I imagine him and Lacroix at the back.
Yeah, they're just going to be running into brick walls.
Yeah. And he's pretty quick too. He's not slow. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, we'll keep moving on. But good little thing there. Kiddo solidified the lead with the 51st minute with an out-of-the-box goal, which he considers his best professional goal. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, if he thinks it's his best goal, it's his best goal. It was a good goal.
I thought you meant your thoughts on the goal. Like, it's pretty good. It's
Look,
outside
like I said, it was a good. I mean, any goal outside the box is generally pretty good.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like
it's. To be a bit critical here, Wales was on him as well and had the option. Like he could have 2-footed him. He could have displaced that ball, but he
could have tactically fouled.
Tactically fouled. Could have done a number of things. Like he was running with him for a little bit, and he you could see him go, "Oh, there's 4 defenders there. It should be right." And
and speaking of tactical fouls, like I know one of the mantras has been not to make stupid mistakes near the box to allow free kick or dangerous situations. But there's also a time where sometimes you just got to do it and see what happens. Like he does it, he's not getting a red card for it unless he does something horrendous. He's getting a yellow.
When I said 2-foot, he could have just it could have been.
He could have slid in for a challenge.
I'm not saying
you give up a yellow, you give up a free kick,
square and dive into and kill the dude. You're not crowd killing with a hardcore show. It's like
you're not saying leave your feet 2 feet at like mid ankle height on an angle.
Yeah, studs out. I'm not saying any of that fun stuff, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. It probably could have been prevented, but again, it's not all up to Wales. Like there was 4 defenders there. He caught Young off guard. I just want to talk about the lead up play. Now, do you want to cover the next bit?
Yeah, sure. So, Reece Bozanovsky also made his professional debut, and you can colour me impressed. I think he shored up our midfield, and I think this should have happened sooner. What you say?
What say you?
What say you?
I wrote it.
What do
I say? What do I say, Kellsy? I was very impressed. Like there was a notable difference when he came on, and that impact was felt. We felt like he is a good midfielder, and I'm not saying he is the solution to what we've been missing for the last few months of Diamante and our rearranging midfield. But this could have someone like this could have done well in that midfield. You know what I mean? Why wasn't this attempted earlier?
The other thing I can think of is maybe he wasn't showing those. Look, when you're young, you can come on in leaps and bounds suddenly. I wonder if maybe 6 months ago he wasn't showing these signs, or maybe they've been trying to protect him, but because we're getting to desperation, mode here, we kind of had to throw him in, and he's looking like he'll be a player who can make the level at a decent rate.
It's really weird seeing people born in the year that you're in year 11 in high school.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So he's only 17, so I can see why that didn't happen. But we haven't seen Luke Duzel play in a long time.
We haven't.
That's what I mean. Like we have midfielders in our NPL academy set up that we haven't seen, which probably could have done so. Like it's quite drastic that we've had Lockie Wales playing in that position, in my opinion. When there are like people, that maybe like he's obviously a bit more experienced at this level, but probably could have had a little bit of a go at some points.
Yeah, I mean, they could have tried it. And look, the only what I understand of Wales, they really like his range of passing and his vision. That's why they like him in the backup spot. That's my understanding of it anyway. But I agree, they could have at least just tried something, give him 20, 25 minutes, just even 20 minutes plus, at a time. See what happens.
Yeah, well, they only gave him 10 minutes this game. So, yeah, I just hope for a little bit more coming up with some of these younger players. Give them a go ski. In some cases, we've had not much that really would change. Noah Botic also got a bit of a go ski as well, which was quite good.
Yeah, you're saying, so how many minutes did this bring him up to?
Oh, let me bring up the...
So you're up to 10. So you only have to add 10 onto the number.
Yeah, there's... he got 17. So he's had 27 minutes this season.
See, I told you it was under half hour.
Yeah. Well, again, he showed some promise. But what I felt like no one was passing to him on the day.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem with sometimes we're throwing in like the younger players is sometimes the senior players don't have that trust in their abilities just yet because they haven't played with them. So I think sometimes that can actually be to the detriment of the team too, because there's not that connection.
Yeah.
And as a
This
senior
seems-
player, you don't want to ever pass to a kid where they're exposed or could get ripped. So sometimes you just don't pass them for fear that they could get, the ball stolen off them or injured or make a massive screw up that could lead to the ball going the other way.
Yeah, it just seems interesting. Not sure the situation there, but he had a few little passes on the goal, and he's got that hairband in that looks like, you remember when girls used to have that in the 90s and early 2000s?
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? And yeah,
The 90s have a lot to answer for.
Yep, they certainly do. Especially for the lack of good death metal in the late 90s. But yeah, we'll keep moving on. Now, despite conceding 2 goals and having a unique centre back pairing, which was Renee Crin and Old Collins, Jamie Young made 8 saves with 1 ripper from outside the box. How do you think he went during this game?
Well, actually, that's something we neglected earlier going just on the Collins thing, was the fact that he was paired with somebody who's not a recognised centre back.
That's my point. Like, he's done it, and he's done it once for us before, but not his wheelhouse.
But given we only shipped 2 with a makeshift backline, we did well. And part of that was, again, the leadership and the commandment of Jamie Young inside his box.
Yeah. I think he's a good guy.
Look, I know people have been upset that, Ryan Scott was displaced as number 1, especially with the back half of his last year and everything. But I have to say that Young has been brilliant.
Yeah. Easily.
He's played all 26 of the home and away season games.
Yep.
I reckon I could count on less than a handful of the bad games he's played.
It's maybe 3.
It'd be under a fistful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's by far, he has the clean sheet record by the length of the Flemington Straight.
He's had 10 clean sheets. I'm not sure if he's still winning that, but which is a record for us. And there's a number of games we wouldn't have be in without his amazing saves. So here's a quick little thing. Thank you, A-League Live, on it right now on my phone. He's conceded 30 goals this season and made 97 saves.
So what? That's just over 1 a game he's conceded? 26 into 30? Oh, yeah. 30 into 26, I mean? Yeah, so it's just over 1 a game?
Yeah. But yes, suffice to say, Jamie Young's had a good season.
Yes, he has. Any final comments?
No. Do you?
No, look, it was a disappointing end to the season. Obviously, we finished 3rd. But again, going back to the context of everything, if you'd told me we were going to get 3rd before the season began after last year, I would have taken it.
Same.
So I've got nothing to complain about.
Do you want to read out the votes?
Yeah. You'll have to give me Lebs and Scott's.
Okay, I'll just do it. So Leb did 3 to DWH, 2 to Killer, 1 to Collins. Jay did 3 to Young, 2 to Wales, 1 to Killer. Kellsy did 3 to Young, 2 to Collins, 1 to Bozanovsky, which is the same as mine. And Scott did 3 to Killer, 2 to Collins, 1 to DWH. Now, Jamie Young has got this by a freaking mile. 118 points, coming first. Coming second, we have Lustica.
And I feel like if he hadn't gotten injured, it would have been a lot tighter.
Yeah. And sorry, I'm just formatting this so I can see it. So he's on 77 points. 72 points, we have Leo Lacroix. 68 for fourth place is Lockie Wales. Coming 5th is Alexander Prijovic with 63. 6th is Joshy Risden.
Again, injury.
Yeah. 7th is
and Prijovic was injured at the start too.
Yeah, so he's missed a couple of games. Connor Payne coming 7th on 54. Ben Garuccio coming 8th because he didn't peak straight away. But
Connor Payne injured. This could have been a really tight race.
Ironically, him and Kilkenny have been standouts probably for the second half of our season. tied on 51 for 8th place. Nikolai Topper-Stanley technically coming 9th on 43, and Tomoki Imai coming 10th on 28. Dylan Wenzel-Hall's 11th on 17. Adisu Bayu is coming 12th.
That's a shock.
Yeah. Renee Crin has got 9 points. Ben Collins has got 7. Nicholas Milanovic is on 6 points. Alessandro Diamante's only got 5. Yeah.
I suspect I'm 3 of those 5 points.
Yeah. So it's been a very interesting season. Injuries definitely played a big part in it, but it is what it is. Do you want to keep moving to our game preview?
Yeah, just one last thing. I just want to note, for the second year in a row, a goalkeeper has won the Player of the Year award.
Yeah, we're easily swayed. It's a good note there. But now on to the game review. Good facts, Kelsey. Did you want to handle it, or do you want me to?
Game preview. No, I'll handle this. So on Saturday, West United take on one of our bogey sides in Wellington Phoenix. The White Whale of teams we just can't seem to beat away at Amy Park. Away, even though it's our home game. With a host of injuries, please knowing what I told you.
Yeah.
With a host of injuries plaguing the squad, and uncertainty around Dia, Rizzo, Pieris, NTS, and Listica, how do you think the squad will line up?
I'm assuming, depending who's back, I'm hoping Listica is back. So I'm just banking on it. Knock on wood. I think he'll be in our midfield. Wales will probably be hopefully on the right wing, and Crin back up there. We have Collins and Lacroix as centre backs. And Mai will be right back because Rissen's. I'd love him to be back, but I'm skeptical he'd play a full game.
You think if Rizzo's back though, they probably start him, and then Mokes moves to centre back again. With noting that we're probably going to make a sub at some point to not have Rizzo playing an entire game. It'll be interesting to see who's fit. As you said, Eloise said a few of them will be back. It's just which ones will be back. I'd rule a line through Dia.
Yeah.
I'd probably rule a line through Nikolai Topper-Stanley, unless it wasn't a bad, I don't know what kind of great ankle it was.
He looked like he was running full stop and extending for the ball to kick it, and you could just see him like, nah, I'm done, bro. Like, you know what? You've hurt yourself before, and you've hurt your knee. Yeah, I remember.
Ankles are finicky, and it was an ankle, wasn't it? Or was it a knee?
But they thought it was a hammy at first on commentary, but they confirmed it was a foot situation. So
and you just don't know what that is. Is it a ligament? Is it a bone? Is it
cartilage?
I would think Pierre's might be right because it looked like his was just a slight tweak of the ankle in the Jets game. Listica, I think it was a hamstring, so he might be right depending on how bad it was.
Out of like the main injuries we have, like the Dia, the Rizzo, and him, Listic is the most likely to be back out of those three, in my opinion.
Which is what we need, to be honest. We need him back. He's been solid.
Yeah. I don't think Dia would make too much of an impact at this point in time, especially after the time he's had off.
I just kind of rule a line through that at the minute.
Yeah. NTS, I'd like to see.
Yeah, I would like to see NTS. I just don't know what kind of injury it was.
No. I'd be happy for him to be at the club next season. Like, he's a great utility player. Great. Like, did you think he'd be one of our starting centre backs for majority of the season?
No, not at all. I thought he was just going to be the fill-in.
I was completely surprised by that. And I remember, like, he's a veteran for a reason. He's solid. He's played 21 games, 18 starts for us.
Yeah, and I'm honoured to have his signature. Sorry, just wanted to get that promotional plug back in there.
I know. Now, what do you think the score's going to be?
Oh, jeez. They are our bogey side. But I feel like the home games against them, sorry, just to parentheses your away thing, I feel like they've been draws of late. I could be wrong.
We don't have a great record with them. I don't think we've. I'll double check it. Let me double check it for you, because my memory is terrible, as you know.
I feel like the last home game, the Tassie one, was a draw, wasn't it?
I'm just bringing up the history.
So look at us specifically as the home team, not the away team.
I'm looking at that.
I know we lost the FFA Cup, which I'm not going to count.
So April 9th at Moorshead Park, got pantsed 4-1. December 7th at GMHBA, 0-1, lost. April 22nd in Tassie last year, 1-1, we got a draw. Yeah, we haven't won since our first game.
Yeah, they've really done a number on us of late. So, look, I have a feeling this game's going extra time.
Yeah.
That's my gut feeling.
Yeah,
whether or not it
time.
goes all the way to penalties, pardon?
So extra time. I'm locking in extra time.
Yeah, I'll say 1-1. We're going to extra time. Do we win it? Oh, I'm backing us to win because I've got to back us to win. It's a final. I've got to back the boys. So they've done everything to get me there. It's a bogey side, but I feel like we break it. Maybe like around the 112th minute type thing. I don't think it goes to penalties. I think just after a break, 5 minutes in or so, we get the goal. And then it's a nervy final 10.
Okay. I'm going to give you mine. And now it's going to be a 3-2 scenario, early goals
Normal
on.
time.
I think it's going to be 10 minutes of extra injury time due to some
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is where I'm going with it. So 3-2, extra time just because of like they're milking it. It's going to be amazing and frustrating to watch. I'm going to back the boys, but Wellington are amazing. And I'd also like to see Brandon watching it because we need his luck.
Yeah, I'm going to try and convince him to be in on this.
If he needs a ticket, just tell him I'll hook him up if he wants to go. Brandon has an impeccable record of attendance / winning. It's we need his luck there that day.
Yep.
Who out of the squad would you like to see get a go? Random player doesn't have to be justified.
Wenzel Halls.
Yeah, cool.
I think he could be important in this game.
That's interesting. I like it. I'd like to see Bozanovsky for me. I've already said Collins in our backline because I'm expecting him. He might need to be required there, and Crin back to midfield. But yeah, that's for me. I'd like to see him get a go maybe earlier. Say if we're losing, just chuck the young kids on and see if they can have a good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'd like to see. Any notes for the game?
I'm expecting this one to be a bit feisty.
Yeah, it's a bit of argy-bargy.
I have a feeling this is where the rivalry might go up a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to explode to the biggest rivalry in the league. I'm not delusional, but I'm saying it'll go up a notch.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good thing. I will bring up, though, pre-game information. So the Western Service crew will be at the Richmond Club Hotel from 4:30 p.m. at 100 Swan Street, Richmond. So go there for a few beers before the game, have a feed, sing some chants, have some fun. It's a pretty open environment, family-friendly most of the time. A lot of chants, a little bit of swearing, but everyone's pretty nice, and it's, have a bit of fun. It's always good. I will be there. I'm pretty keen for a game because it's been a while between games. And then the game is, I think it's 7:30, and active is at Bay 17 at Amy Park. So if you want to come have a sing, shout the boys on. Let's help bring it home. Be the 12th man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's all I had for that matter. I might just come on to the old. Do you want to talk about the tipping comp?
Sure, let's find out who won. I can tell you who. Again, I'm contractually obligated to remind you that I've not gotten a tip wrong all year.
Do you know I said
sure,
that
I never entered the competition, but
you know I said that for you last week when you weren't on. It pained
and I appreciate that.
It pained me to say that. I was like, who hasn't tipped? But the winner of the, just give me a second. Have the tab open on my phone. is Methodical Flamethrower. We'll be in touch shortly, and we'll get you a prize pack. It's pretty sick. And if you can not destroy the trophy, that'd be amazing. Shout out Andrew Tran. Woodster 99 came second on 74 points. Shout out Nick. You won't be getting an acceptance speech this year.
No. I hear he was really looking forward to getting the exact trophy from Andrew Tran.
If you talk to him, you might actually be able to. What's left of it? Andrew Tran came 4th. I came 5th. And it's only because I had a bad tipping week I would have been 4th. And Harris Mania, shout out my boy Mitch, come 7th. Lebby, our own, came 10th. Shout out Brooke Musket, came 12th. The Joker, which is Jay, came 16th. And Scott actually moved up to 21st. Good on him. But thanks everyone for joining the competition this year. It's been a lot of fun and added a lot of shithousery to the group chat for the pod. Anything else you have for around the grounds, Kellsy?
Not really, no. It's all about the final, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Who is your preference to win the grand final if it wasn't us?
If it wasn't us, none of them. I am hoping for some sort of event
Sniper?
where no one's lives are tragically taken, but when the game can't ever be played.
Okay. I'd have to say this is, if anyone had to win, Wellington.
Yeah, probably
for
Wellington.
years. I have a soft spot for Wellington.
Also to see what the Asian Football Confederation do when a New Zealand team wins, because they're pretty much adamant that they can't be in there.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
But
yeah,
to watch them collectively lose their minds over it would be great.
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, me too. It'd just be great.
Yeah, we'll move on. Do you have anything for around the grounds or carded?
No.
Neither.
No.
We might just end it here. Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, review to All Out West podcast, all that jazz. All West, aren't we, Kellsy?
All West, aren't we?
Just fighting the video. Ooh, I'm terrible for that.